Mag Truth back on. Now I'm gonna break down this so-called RSV, the new so-called virus. It's not really new for say, but they're gonna tell you right now that it's affecting a lot of kids and it's more dangerous around these times. We go get into it and break it down, but before I get in, man, all the people trying to get in on the podcast, man, you have to listen. After you sign up with Spotify to get the podcast, you have to go ahead and check your email. Make sure you confirm that you are a paid subscriber and then you're in. It's not hard. Just make sure you confirm in your email that you get from Spotify. Always much respect to the people. Now, let's get into this right here and see what they're talking about. Of course, it's the cold and flu season upon us. They have to hit us with something. You understand? Scare tactics again for you to take the juice or give the juice to your kids. Run it, make we see what they're talking about.
Almost all kids get infected by this.
Listen.
There's no vaccine or treatment.
So all kids almost. So remember, it's nothing new. Like I tell you, the cold and the flu is what they've been using the whole time to sell the masses as a dangerous virus. That's what they used to catch you, so you run to the juice. This time they tell you there ain't no juice for this yet. But of course they go to come up with it in a minute because they already have it. They're just fronting on the masses right now and the public, trying to tell you they have to scramble to go get that vaccine right now. But pay attention.
But this year, doctors are concerned about the virus.
Why? Why this year? Why this year?
Respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV for short, is a common sickness that usually causes mild cold-like symptoms
You
within...
hear that, people? It's regular and it usually causes mild symptoms. Mild. Listen to the words that they're using here. But all of a sudden it's 2022, so everything is more potent, everything is more turned up, everything show up on the scene gonna be a problem. I understand.
Just 6 days after becoming infected.
So what's the problem now?
But for infants and older adults, this can be serious. RSV is transmitted through human contact.
Listen, same shit again, people. Human contact, and I already told you, it is a hoax. 100% fake shit. All they have to do is give you some movies, TV shows, news and everything, show your virus spread, and then bam, they start hitting you back to back with these variants and virus. Nothing real about it.
Sneezes or touching infected surfaces. The virus peaks in winter, but started circulating this summer.
You hear
A
that?
surprise for doctors who say it could be a result from the COVID pandemic.
No, people, it's the trees. You got to understand those trees that you see and you say, yeah, beautiful trees is help the environment. That's what basically giving you allergy. Yes, if you get those symptoms, you're not understanding now what. That's exactly what give you those symptoms. It's just blowing around in the air. So now when you get those symptoms, they're trying to tell you it's something serious and what you need to do after that. Government control shit.
RSV can be diagnosed by an antigen or PCR test.
There you go again, people. They have to. Why would you even use testing for that? You say it's a mild cold symptoms you get from it back then. Why would you even have to use a PCR to test for it, people? It's bullshit.
Parents are advised to call pediatricians if a child is having breathing difficulty, not drinking fluids, or experiencing worsening symptoms.
What do you mean not drinking fluid? Wow, this is bullshit right here. Call the doctor if the kid not drinking fluid. Move.
Tonight, children with
Look at this,
RSV
people. It's
overwhelming
children.
hospitals nationwide, pushing
Listen.
emergency centers to the brink. From Rhode
You hear
Island,
that, people? As you could see the sun ray right there. And of course, Rhode Island gotta be involved. New York, they gotta be the first epicenter of this bullshit again. Pay attention.
Even in the last few weeks, we've seen a doubling of cases.
to New York.
Our emergency
course.
department numbers are up about 20 to 25%.
The highly contagious but
Orange
rarely
clothing.
fatal respiratory virus is filling up hospital beds across the
You
country.
hear what they say? It's rarely fatal. But like I say, it's 2022 where everything is more potent that they give you. Pay attention.
It can initially present like a common cold, but
Common
can
cold.
become more severe in older adults and infants.
So here we go, people. Older adults and infants, as you could see this kid right there, happy as ever, but they tie all of these things on it. It's a wicked world you live in. Just understand what they're doing is a destruction road. They take you down using the cold and flu. That's it.
Parents of 4-month-old Georgia
Nothing
first
wrong with
realized
it.
something was wrong when they saw her breathing abnormally.
Her
when she was doing every single breath. It was going in and out, in and out.
Georgia spent 4 days in the hospital, diagnosed with RSV.
Why? Why would the little baby have to be in the hospital for a little common cold? You just mentioned that's what it was. It basically gives you light cold symptoms. Why would she have to be hooked up in the hospital? It's bullshit for 4 days. So now they tell you that hospital is overwhelmed with these kids. It's real? Move. It's Oaks on.
Definitely terrified, especially when we saw that she needed to go on oxygen and had the tubes in her nose.
Tonight, she's back home and recovering. This surge comes just as other respiratory illnesses in children take off. In one Virginia high school, nearly half the students were absent this week.
You hear that, people? Why? Why is this so-called cold and flu is more turned up on the kids right now? Why? You never understand. All of them got to get the juice and also boots.
Because of flu-like symptoms. In San Diego, more than 1,000 students miss class. Experts point to pandemic precautions as a reason for the spike.
You have an entire group of kids over the last 3 years that haven't been exposed to those respiratory viruses, RSV included.
You hear that, people? There go your reason right there. You hear what they tell you? It's because they isolate the kids. Now their body not used to that. The immune system seeing that so-called that virus or variant, whatever they call it, basically as foreign. So now it can affect you. There you go, people. So they basically gonna blame it on the guidelines. Like I don't tell you, they can easily go back to the guidelines and say, look, because we keep the kids away from here, because we keep them in a mask, because this, that, now they're prone to pick up any virus that come around. Their body feel new to it.
And that led to essentially 3 times the amount of kids who are susceptible.
RSV typically thrives in the winter months, but this year it began circulating earlier than normal.
I'm going to ask you something. What happened to it in 2020? What happened to the same virus that you're talking about in 2021? You never hear about it. Remember, people, the cold and the flu disappear in those 2 years that I mentioned. In 2020, 2021, the cold and the flu disappear. Everything was the virus COVID. You remember? Now they're coming back again and tell you now the flu return. The flu return with the so-called new variants and everything. Flu return right now. Why? Why the flu return? Now they're telling you got to watch out for this SRV or RSV or all that shit. And now they have to also look out for the common flu. Common cold and flu, people. Pay attention here.
Do you anticipate things will get worse?
There's a lot of concern that this is just the beginning of the respiratory viral season. Of course,
you know.
And so many of us are very concerned about that.
And Kathy joins us live from Hassenfeld Children's Hospital in New York. Kathy,
yes, it's always New York, people. It's nothing but a hoax.
Every parent wants to know, what can we do to keep our children safe?
What can we do? Tell them.
Well, Jose, there is no vaccine to prevent an RSV infection. So
yes, but don't worry about it. They will come in with it. Remember, they tell you it's just a common cold, give you light symptoms. Why even mention a shot? Why? But don't worry about it. They have it already, people. They're going to tell you, listen, we used to have some shots from back then. We can use it for the same treatment right here. Move.
Hospitals are seeing an unprecedented surge in a respiratory illness among children. It's really frightening. RSV is a common cold virus that can be associated with severe disease in young children and older adults. And the CDC says it's already hitting peak levels in some areas.
This has really stepped up over the last 2-3 weeks, and it's created some difficulties for us because, again, our beds are filled to capacity.
See, there we go, people. They're back again with beds. America shorts a bed, people. Remember, I told you that's bullshit. They're always going to hit you with the same bullshit when they're ready to come back again and tell you there's a spike or some virus. Now, kids is overwhelming the hospital. There's no more beds. You believe it, people? Wow.
Coming in, and
Wow.
so we've had a situation where we have to expand our services in a way that we can provide all the care for the kids that are coming in with RSV. I've been doing this for a long time. I've been
never seen it before.
For 25 years, and I have never seen this level of surge, specifically of RSV coming into our hospital.
Of course. It was COVID.
CNN medical correspondent Dr. Tara Narula is here with
Here
the
we go with another fake doctor. You see the looking weird looking on the face? See, act like he smells something funny? Pay attention here.
And Tara, a CNN analysis of new HHS data shows children are filling hospital beds more now than over the past 2 years of the pandemic. I'm hearing anecdotally from friends, too, whose children are suffering with this. One had to be hospitalized. Why are we seeing a spike in cases?
Well, you know, Brianna, we've done COVID mitigation strategies really well over the last couple of years.
Oh, yeah?
And so kids normally get exposed to RSV, and almost all of us have it at some point in our lives before we reach the age of 2. But because of what we've done in the past 2 years, we've changed the equilibrium, right? So kids have not gotten exposed, they've not developed the immunity, and now we're seeing this big influx all at once of children, even potentially children who are older than they would have had this type of reaction previously. And so
you mentioned that it's also affecting grown folks. So you're not going to explain that. Wow, people, what a dumb shit. Like I said, the government have a lot of tricks for the masses and just to lead you the direction that they want you. Watch out, because it is coming.
yes, as you mentioned, we're seeing a spike across the country in RSV, particularly pediatric hospital beds filling up. We know that 3/4 of pediatric hospital beds are filled now, compared to an average day in the past 2 years when it was about 2/3. In general, this is a very common lower respiratory tract infection for kids under the age of 1. And on average, we see about 58,000 hospitalizations a year for kids under 5, 2 million outpatient visits for kids under 5, and kids usually do well, whether at home or even when they go to the hospital. They get symptomatic treatment and they usually recover. So we don't want to scare parents. There usually are about 100 to 300 deaths per year. But it is important to understand if you see symptoms in your kid and know exactly when to act and when you can relax a little bit.
I guess the frightening part is just having to hospitalize your child at all. What are the symptoms parents should be looking for?
So it can be hard to tell the difference between this and a cold or COVID or the flu. So
you hear that, people? Always the same shit, man. The same symptoms. You never get it. How much time I have to tell you? They're destroying the earth using a normal cold and flu that you're used to. How do you come around let them do that, people? How we let them do that when we already know what the cold and the flu is? Simple and easy. They can use it for a deadly virus. Have everybody juice the fuck up. I'm gone.